It recently occurred to me, in the 9 months I've been making videos for this channel, discussing many of my favourite entertainment properties such as Doctor Who, Star Trek and Star Wars, I have yet to properly talk about one of my absolute favourite brands. Marvel. There was one Marvel film I wanted to cover in a Why I Love video, but that didn't really fit with my December schedule. Eventually I figured,
screw it, it's Christmas. Yes. Yes.
yes, that's right, Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie. If people can claim Die Hard, then I get Iron Man 3. The first Iron Man film kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe back in 2008. While Iron Man 2 may not have received the same level of praise, the character was an integral part of the 2012 crossover, The Avengers. It therefore made sense to begin Phase 2 of the MCU with Iron Man 3. Before we begin, be warned, this video will include spoilers. This film is a sequel to both the first two Iron Man films and The Avengers. Just as Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and to a lesser extent Thor: The Dark World, are sequels to both the first films in their respective series and the 2012 crossover. This was an interesting point in the MCU's history. Phase 1 had done a fantastic job establishing the various characters and the world. Phase 2 had to then expand that world and keep it moving forward. This was the first film to deal with the aftermath of the Chitauri invasion. According to the recently released Marvel Studios' The First 10 Years, Iron Man 3 officially takes place in 2012, the same year as The Avengers. It has therefore been, at most, a matter of months since aliens attacked New York City.
Listen, the Pentagon is scared. After New York, aliens, come on.
There is definitely a sense that Iron Man now exists in a much bigger and crazier world, reinforcing Nick Fury's statement from the end of the first film.
Mr. Stark, you become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
This film really explores the character of Tony Stark. There is a greater emphasis on Tony rather than Iron Man. His internal struggle following the events of the Avengers makes perfect sense. This is a man who until recently had always been the centre of his own world, and has suddenly been confronted with the reality he is just one small part of a massive universe.
Nothing's been the same since New York.
Oh, really? Well, I didn't notice that at all.
You experience things, and then they're over, and you still can't explain them. Gods, aliens, other dimensions. I'm just a man in a can.
The film isn't afraid to show Tony vulnerable and out of his element.
Check the heart, check the, is it the brain?
No sign of cardiac anomaly or unusual brain activity.
Okay, so it's poison?
My diagnosis is that you've experienced a severe anxiety attack.
Me?
Of course, we need to address the elephant in the room.
My name's Trevor Slattery.
What are you? What are you, a decoy? You're a double, right?
Well, I mean, I'm not a study. No, absolutely not. Don't hurt the face. I'm an actor.
You got a minute to live. Fill it with words.
Just a role. The Mandarin. See, it's not real.
Now, I didn't grow up reading Marvel comics, so I don't have the same personal connection to the lore many fans do. As such, I actually quite like the twist. I think it's funny and effectively unexpected. That being said, I completely understand those who felt cheated by the reveal.
This is the Mandarin?
I know, it's embarrassing.
Those who genuinely hate the twist should watch the Marvel one-shot All Hail the King. It is honestly worth a watch even if you don't object to the twist. Of course, once you know the twist, it actually makes perfect sense upon rewatch. Viewers are only ever shown the public image of the Mandarin.
Some people call me a terrorist. I consider myself a teacher. America. Ready for another lesson?
It should be noted Ben Kingsley is brilliant as both versions of the character. The film plays a lot with the theme of identity.
I'm different now. Well,
47.
you know who I am.
You know who I am. You don't know where I am. And you'll never see me coming.
Guy Pearce also plays multiple versions of Aldrich Killian throughout.
What floor are you going to, pal?
Well, now that is an appropriate question. The ground floor, actually, of a proposal I'm putting together myself. It's a privately funded think tank called Advanced Idea Mechanics.
She'll take both. One to throw away and one to not call.
Advanced Idea Mechanics, or AIM for short. Do you get it?
I see that because it's on your t-shirt.
Oh,
And yes, when he says,
I am the Mandarin!
he isn't saying that he is the actual Mandarin, but rather he is the person behind the idea that is the Mandarin. The supporting cast is also great. Don Cheadle really settles into the role of Rhodey, who easily holds his own alongside Tony.
You see that? Nailed it. Yeah, you really killed the glass. Like I was aiming for the bulb. You can't hit a bulb at this distance.
Harley is also a good foil for Tony.
You know what this crater reminds me of?
No idea. I don't care.
That giant wormhole in New York. Does it remind you?
That's manipulative. I don't want to talk about it.
Stylistically, this sequel is notably different from its two predecessors, even little things like the title cards. Jon Favreau did not direct the third film, though he did return as Happy Hogan.
Hello?
Is this for head of security?
What? You know, look, I got a real job. What do you want? I'm working. I got something going on here.
Instead, Shane Black took over directing duties, which explains the seasonal backdrop. The Christmas setting is largely inconsequential to the plot, though, to its credit, the film fully commits to it. This film sees Tony Stark at his most vulnerable. He is constantly on the back foot or at some disadvantage throughout.
Let's go. Ah, crap.
The film strips him of nearly everything familiar, from his home, to his suits, and even Jarvis for a time.
Maybe I'll just cozy back up for...
I actually think I need to sleep now, sir.
Jarvis. Jarvis? Don't leave me, buddy.
I've seen a lot of people criticize the Mark 42's perceived flimsiness.
The Iron Man suit gets broken and smashed to pieces by a truck. It doesn't matter if Tony's in it or not. In the first movie, the suit could take a direct hit from a tank shell and Tony shrugged it off like it was nothing. Now, a freaking truck can destroy it.
It is stated to be a prototype. Given each piece of the suit is designed to function independently, it makes sense it would be more susceptible to forceful impacts than earlier, more rigid designs. It is also heavily damaged. Most importantly, the suit's imperfections thematically reflect Tony's struggles. Another common criticism is Tony's stupidity in giving his home address to the Mandarin.
On the off chance you're a man, here's my home address. 10880 Malibu Point, 90265. I'll leave the door unlocked.
To his credit, he was at least somewhat prepared.
Are we still at Ding Dong? We're supposed to be on total security lockdown. Come on, I threatened a terrorist. Who is that?
Granted, he should have seen the attack coming. However, the film makes it clear Tony is not at the top of his game.
Sir, may I remind you that you've been awake for nearly 72 hours?
He doesn't call upon any of the other Avengers, another point many have criticized, because this is a personal vendetta for him.
Here's a little holiday greeting I've been wanting to send to the Mandarin. I just didn't know how to phrase it until now. My name is Tony Stark, and I'm not afraid of you. I know you're a coward. So I've decided that you just died, pal. I'm gonna come get the body. There's no politics here, it's just good old-fashioned revenge. There's no Pentagon, it's just you and me.
Tony himself doesn't even get involved until after Happy is hospitalized.
Stopping the Mandarin is priority, but it's not...
It's not superhero business.
No, it's not, quite frankly. It's American business.
He reacts emotionally, without thinking, and is almost immediately caught off guard because of it. This is a solid conclusion to the Iron Man trilogy, in many ways bringing things full circle.
We met once, you know, at a technical conference in Bern. Mr. Stark. Oh, Jensen.
Oh, I finally met a man called Hope.
The final line of the film, and by extension the trilogy, mirrors the iconic ending of the first film.
I am Iron Man.
with new meaning.
You can take away my house, all my tricks and toys. One thing you can't take away? I am Iron Man.
At the time, some worried the ending created a plot hole for the then upcoming Avengers Age of Ultron. However, in hindsight, it really wasn't an issue. It was even addressed directly in Captain America Civil War.
A few years ago, I almost lost her, so I trashed all my suits. Then we had to mop up Hydra, and then Ultron. My fault. And then, I never stopped. Because the truth is, I don't want to stop.
While Iron Man has remained an integral part of the MCU, since this film the character has either been part of an ensemble cast or in a supporting role in other heroes' stories. The film also has a distinctive musical sound. Unlike the two previous films, the soundtrack features no AC/DC music. Instead, the score was composed by Brian Tyler. Tyler has had an ongoing relationship with Marvel, composing the scores for Thor: The Dark World, Avengers Age of Ultron, and the Marvel one-shot All Hail the King, as well as the fanfare which accompanies the studio's logo in Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Tyler wrote a new, more conventional musical theme for Iron Man.
Merry Christmas, buddy.
If you've ever wondered why Tony's surgery at the end of the film takes place in China, it ties into the Chinese cut of the film. This version features 4 minutes of additional scenes, expanding the role of Dr. Wu, who only appears briefly in the international cut.
Dr. Wu. Oh, this guy.
Mr. Stark.
Hey. You're a heart doctor. She's going to need a cardiologist, F.A.
If you're worried there are 4 minutes of Marvel gold out there you haven't seen, don't. By all accounts, the added scenes are awkwardly shoehorned in and overtly pander to Chinese audiences, featuring intrusive product placement. I couldn't really find a good segue, but I did want to point out this film brings Downton Abbey, one of my other favourite properties, into the MCU.
Sunday nights, PBS, Downton Abbey. That's a show. He thinks it's elegant.
If you're interested in seeing the Extremis storyline continued, you should watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Even if you aren't particularly interested in that plot thread, you should still watch the series, because it's great. Iron Man 3 just might be my favourite film in the trilogy. While I think the first is arguably a better film, I largely prefer the third. Of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the film in the comments. If you liked this video, why not give it a thumbs up? Maybe share it with a friend, or an enemy. Either way, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to see more content here on Channel 73.